Hey there, Bloomers and friends. Rev Kev coming to you from the Bloom office. I know that folks had a wonderful time last Sunday at Bloom's worship service. We're so grateful for the leadership that everyone brought, including the Reverend Dr. Stephen Wales. And I very much appreciate him taking the lead and holding down the fort while Mike and I were in Phoenix for a little getaway time. And also for me to be able to spend some time with some high school classmates. Some of them I haven't seen since 1971. So that was kind of fun. And what was really nice about it was that we were all happy to see each other and had a nice time. It was about a dozen people, and it was also very nice for me to be able to introduce Mike and to experience the aspect of that just being a part of our lives. And here's my husband Mike, and him also being recognized by others as they would introduce him to others, including their own husbands, and say, "This is Kevin's husband, Mike." And it was a situation of normalcy, which would not have happened 20 or 25 years ago, or certainly not when I graduated from high school. So that part of the experience was actually kind of momentous. We enjoyed some side trips and various kinds of things like that, so that was a lot of fun. I wanted to mention to you that this Sunday is the beginning of Women's History Month. It's also sort of our beginning of a recognition of Bloom's 16th anniversary of Sunday morning worship. And what I'm excited about is that the pastor, who has never preached at Bloom, but was the woman who was our mentor as a congregation when we first came into the UCC, as well as our mentor when we had our Strengthen the Church grant for 3 years. Not really the mentor, she was sort of like our supervisor to make sure we were fulfilling the aspects of the grant that we were supposed to in order to continue to qualify for the money back then. And also currently is my advisor on my doctoral dissertation. And so we're very happy to welcome the Reverend Dr. Sharon Graff to be with us. And Sharon is sort of unofficially kicking off our week of historical celebration, we might call it, for Bloom, which kind of will culminate in our Spring Fling Cabaret and Silent Auction on March 8th. And then the Sunday, the 10th, that would be when I'll be preaching, and that'll actually be the second Sunday of March, which was the first day of our offering Sunday morning worship in 2003, the second Sunday of March. And ever since that very beginning, we have had a dedication to welcome. That was, if we were going to boil down or reduce to the best sauce, the secret sauce, what we were wanting to do when Mike and I just were wanting to establish Bloom, as well as the other people like Joe and Ann Brownrigg and Harry and other folks that were a part of the very early days. There was a Methodist district superintendent from up in Oregon who was down here for just that one season, and he helped us for a few weeks. The key element of it was that our core value for people would be welcome. And that's why we work at that so hard. It is intended to be our essential aspect to welcome folks. It doesn't mean that we welcome abuse. It doesn't mean that we welcome disruptions, but it does mean that we want everybody who welcomes folks to be able to feel at home, and also that we communicate God's welcome, the welcome of the redemptive work of Christ, and the welcome of the Holy Spirit always among us, living to this day as we welcome one another. And in our case, starting in the parking lot, through the welcome table, into the congregation, and on into hospitality time. It influences the words we choose in the bulletin, and it influences the way in which we do our business on a daily basis, the way we structure our ministry groups, and the way we function in relation to one another in trying to provide a safe and welcoming space to people these days. What is interesting to me in the midst of that, just to kind of round it out here, was that some may know that Marty Johnson and I are members of the Patient and Advisory Council at the Desert Regional Medical Center here in Palm Springs. And so because we're volunteers, every once in a while we have to go through a training of all the volunteer training at the Desert Regional Medical Center, now called Desert Care Network, Desert Regional Medical Center. The thing about it is, it was a presentation, a 2-hour presentation, basically on welcome. And the aspect of it is that the organization is doing their very best to create what they call a culture of yes. And that's a culture that says yes rather than no. Yes, I can do something, not no, I can't do that. It also was an interesting thing that in the middle of the presentation, there was another phrase that they said is we make memories for people. We make memories for people. And the final thing that was the very last slide in the presentation, or the second to the last slide, or one of the slides, I'm sorry, now I'm kind of goofing this up, was this phrase that I thought was right here. Here it is. It is right here, and it says, be kinder than you think you need to be. Be kinder than you think you need to be. And that was the message to all of the volunteers at Desert Regional Medical Center. Russ told me to get it up into the frame here. So, be kinder than you think you need to be. And what is essential about that is that is the way we are called to be. That's the way Jesus calls us to be. Be kinder than we think we need to be. That's a part of our being oriented toward justice and compassion. That's a part of our welcome, so that when people come in, we will be kinder than we think we need to be. And what that means is that we'll be helpful to people, we'll be welcoming to people. Maybe instead of telling somebody where to go sit in the room, we take them to that location. Or maybe instead of saying, why don't you come for coffee, we say to somebody, well, you want to have some refreshments? Come with me and sit with me and talk to me. And that's the way we are living out the welcome that we have. It's also the way that we're living out the love that God has for all of us. And you know, at the end of the love chapter in 1 Corinthians 13, everybody likes that last phrase that says, you know, faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. But very few people go on to the next phrase where Paul, the author of that letter, says, in all things choose love. And that love is a part of our welcome. It's the basis for our welcome. So, hope to see you this Sunday. It's going to be a fine day, a communion Sunday at Bloom, and we're looking forward to a wonderful Mardi Gras time. If you want to help out with the Mardi Gras procession, come at 9:30 and meet with Mike Shear, and you'll get kitted out and ready to go for our traditional Mardi Gras opening procession, and also our traditional at the end of the worship service, singing When the Saints Go Marching In, which we're going to make a little adjustment to the words this particular Sunday. And we have special refreshments that James Daly and his niece Jamie Garrett are preparing for us. So let's all be together. If you can't be with us in body, please be with us in spirit. And as always, please keep us in your prayers.